Well, hello there. I'm Randy Cross, and this is the Randy Cross Podcast. A little bit different, like you just saw there. This is kind of the Election Day edition of the podcast. We're going to have a quick commentary. We're going to have sports. Then we're going to have feel good. So it'll be a shorter version. So you're not committing to a full half hour, 40 minutes. You'll enjoy it though. We're going to start things off here. I just wanted to kind of remind people about where we were last time we did this. It's one thing to say get out and vote, which I did last week. But hey, we've been through this fairly recently as 4 years ago. We had an election, and just want to give you the contrast that we don't see quite often enough, and that's the contrast between a popular vote and an electoral college, and why we kind of do things the way we do in this country. Now, in the popular vote last time, we had this this event. Clinton and Trump went at it, and Clinton actually finished out with a little over 2 million more votes in the popular vote. Well, the reason, our founding fathers put our Constitution together the way they did is they wanted this to be representative of the entire country, not just the most populated areas. So they put votes out, electoral college, around the country. To Trump's credit, he studied that theory pretty well, he and his advisors, and that's the result. He won the last election and did not win the popular vote. Not the first one to win the election and not win the popular vote. Probably the most controversial one, I think, without a doubt. It does have some history, but the Electoral College can get out of whack pretty quick if you don't win certain key states. For Republicans, it's states like Florida and Georgia, and we've heard it infinitum down the road. The Washington Post, the largest paper in our nation's capital, printed this just the other day. Sort of a recap, and this isn't to influence anybody. I'm not showing this to say, well, gee, look at this. These are all great reasons either to vote for one guy or to vote for the other guy. Here are some of the states, as you go breakdown to breakdown, sort of where we're sitting in the battleground states. If that inspires you to vote, great. If that inspires you to stay home, that's an issue. We have 240 million eligible voters. We should get the vast majority, especially now that people are mailing in and absentee and everything else. We should be able to see how accurate these numbers are. Pollsters by nature are not very accurate. Sorry, that's what 2016 taught us. Heck, sports polls aren't very accurate. Political polls are naturally biased. It's all influenced on what percentage of the public or what percentage of either side you include in your polls. And these huge rallies that Trump is holding, in a way, skews people's opinions, in my opinion, because you forget about that popular vote. You forget about those 64 million people that didn't vote for the President of the United States, and they're still out there. They're probably not any less fired up than they were 4 years ago. Do not forget that. Go and vote. If it's your guy, vote for him. That's all I'll say. It doesn't really matter who you're going to vote for, but the whole process here in the United States is that you vote. All right? Let's head on to the world of sports. Specifically, let's go to the world of college football. Yeah, to me right now, college football is the world of sports. And last week we had some really nice games. Sort of set up what's going to be happening this week and in the coming weeks. But Clemson, without Trevor Lawrence, still managed to take out BC. It was at Clemson, and they were down pretty good at one point. But BC scored 28 by halftime and didn't score any more in the second half. And Clemson managed to come back and beat them. Alabama put a thrashing on Mississippi State. There's something wrong. Just not right. A little smelly in Starksville. But those Bulldogs aren't real healthy right now. The number 3 team in the country in action, finally now, the second game was Ohio State playing Penn State. This game was decided by 13 points, and it really wasn't that close. Ohio State showed continually that they are clearly the better team in that matchup. And they stuffed Sean Clifford and the Nittany Lions pretty well. Notre Dame beat Georgia Tech at Georgia Tech 31-13. Not a bad performance. Might have been looking ahead a little bit to Clemson this coming week. Number 5 football team, the Georgia Bulldogs, played a really good Kentucky team. If you haven't seen Kentucky, they're the real deal. Stoops has done a nice job with those Wildcats, and Georgia beat them 14-3 in the power of their defense. Offense, not so much. Defense, yes. The number 6 team in the country, Oklahoma State, went down this weekend to Texas, 41-34. Great job by Tom Herman, Sam Ehlinger, his quarterback, and that whole football team takes out Gundy and the Cowboys. No longer among the undefeated, and the Big 12 now has no undefeated teams. Next up is Cincinnati, the number 7 team in the country, put a thrashing on Memphis. This was a little surprising, only because I knew Cincinnati had a really good defense. I knew they had a pretty good offense. They got a real good offense. 49-10 over Memphis. Ended up being a pretty severe butt whipping. Texas A&M and Arkansas. Arkansas is a team on the rise. Sam Pittman's done a really nice job with the Razorbacks. Problem for him, A&M is a pretty good team. And they are the number 8 team in the country and did take them out. So congratulations to the boys at A&M. Florida played Missouri. Number 10 team in the country took out Missouri pretty easily, 41-17. That was, it was highlighted really by a little altercation at halftime, and we'll get into that later. But the upcoming games this week, Clemson goes to Notre Dame. This is going to be one heck of a game. Let's see, Clemson is favored by 6 points. And I think Clemson will go to Notre Dame and they will win. They will not cover. It'll be that close. Florida is playing Georgia down in Jacksonville in the game formerly known as the world's largest cocktail party. Now it's just the Florida-Georgia game. And I think Georgia, this is your last chance. If you want to make this the year you break out and do something extraordinary, great. And I think Georgia wins that game. Oklahoma State is going to play at Kansas State. This very well could be for the title in the Big 12. We will see, but these are 2 teams right at the top of the Big 12. And I believe Kansas State is going to beat Oklahoma State. And the Pac-12 and the MAC finally return. The MAC's not bad. They start Wednesday night, but the Pac-12 starts with the trees and the ducks. And as everyone knows, a duck can get out of the way of a falling tree. So I'll take Oregon, given those points, given a lot of points actually, 12 to Stanford. And I mentioned the Florida-Missouri game. Here's a little screenshot from ESPN College Football of what happened at halftime of the Florida-Missouri game. And it was really about one thing is where it started. It started when Kyle Trask was throwing a pass, and Kyle Trask got the devil knocked out of him. Now we're going to show it to you here.
Trask on the pass.
Ball's released, 2, 3, bang. So yeah, I mean, that was late. His offensive line came to his defense. That cascaded into a fight, and it cascaded in a hell of a fight. 3 players were ejected from this game. And the SEC, at the time we're taping this podcast, has not made a ruling on how many other bodies are going to be affected. But they're going to be affected on both sides. You will have players from Florida and you will have players from Missouri that will not be in attendance at this week's games because of what happened here. And I'll say beforehand, I will say kudos to the SEC if you actually step up and suspend multiple other players or other participants in this. I mean, it really, really doesn't matter. If you're a player, a coach, a manager, a fan, whoever. That's Dan Mullen in the middle. And yeah, you're not seeing things. That was Dan Mullen, the adult in the room, in the post-game press conference. Here he is, Lord Vader.
I think, I didn't see it. I was watching the play down the field to see if there was pass interference on the player, if we made the catch. And then guys are like, hey, I mean, I got told they hit him late. And you know what? I mean, our guys are going to defend their quarterback. And I think our guys started to do that. And then I think, unfortunately, you're at a play where, if that's a late hit and there's pushing and shoving and it was going to be like fourth down and we had to punt or one of those situations, it's one thing. But when the teams are leaving the field, you have kind of both teams running off the field at the same time. So I didn't see what was going on. I didn't see the late hit. I got told afterwards that our guys thought that was the case, but obviously it wasn't from the officials' point of view. Then we went out there trying to get our guys off the field because it was getting testy. You know what I mean? We have a big game next week. And, I think it kept growing and growing. We're trying to kind of push guys back. And, unfortunately, it kind of, trying to get in the middle, get the officials to get in the middle, trying to get them to get in the middle, get us in the middle, get their team off, our team off. And, but everyone's running to the locker room, and it kind of keeps spilling down that way. So it's a really unfortunate situation.
Like I said, it's good to see there's an adult in the room, keeping it all in perspective. Just a reminder, Saturday night was Halloween, was not a random Darth Vader appearance. But you knew that. And you also know what's coming next, because coming next is a nice story about Henry and Baloo in the Feel Good Story of the Week.
This is the good news. This is the good news.
Yeah, dogs and cats, they can get along. At times it's an interesting relationship. It's kind of like Democrats and Republicans lately. You just figure they always fight. But this is Henry and Baloo, and check out this video. It's pretty cool.
We are one and we stare at the sun. We got a chicken in a pocket and we just want some fun. We are free. We are free. If you could dream about it, maybe you could see what we mean. If you could think about it, maybe you would know what we see. We're free. If you could dream about it, maybe you could see what we mean. If you could think about it, maybe you would know what we see. We're free. And all we want is fun. And all we want is love. And all we want is fun. And all we want is love. And all we want is fun. And all we want is love. And all we want is fun. And all we want is love. And all we want is fun. And all we want is love. And all we want is fun. And all we want is love. And all we want is fun. And all we want is love. And all we want is fun. And all we want is love. And all we want is fun.
There they are, Henry and Baloo. So if you need a break from all this hate back and forth, whether it's in politics or sports or whatever, check out our friends at the Dodo. They're fantastic. They have just dozens and dozens, if not thousands, of stories just like this. And they're uplifting and they're fun to watch. So check them out, and thank you to them for having this kind of content available. I want to remind you how you found our little podcast here. The best way to do it is to go to randycross.com. You can get us at thegrowingtruth.com. You can get us at barnburner.ca. You can get us at, the usual, the Facebooks and all the media moguls and the the ones that control your life and your brain and everything else about you. That's where you can find our podcast, and it's been a lot of fun. Hey, right now, let's try to finish this off with a laugh. And when you see this, just these mask and PPE fails, have a sense of humor. Or actually have a clue, like some of these people didn't.